Tonight, I come before you slowly, quietly, with a heart that has been waiting all day to hear your voice. I set aside every other sound, every other concern, every unfinished thought, and I turn my attention fully toward you. This moment is not rushed. This moment is not filled with performance or perfection. This moment is simply a soul leaning toward its creator, longing for your nearness. You already know how tired I am. You already know the weight I carry into this night, and yet you invite me to come, just as I am, and to rest in you. As I settle into stillness, I acknowledge that this day is now complete. What was done is done. What was not finished, I release into your hands. I refuse to carry tomorrow's worries into tonight's rest. I refuse to replay conversations, mistakes, fears, or regrets. Instead, I place them gently before you, trusting that nothing placed in your care is ever lost. You are the God who watches over me, not only when I am awake and striving, but also when I am asleep and vulnerable. I breathe deeply, letting my body slow down, letting my thoughts soften. With each breath, I remind my soul that you are here. You are not distant. You are not silent. You are near, attentive, and full of compassion. Even in the quiet of the night, you are working in ways I cannot see. You are aligning what feels scattered. You are healing what feels bruised. You are strengthening what feels weak. Tonight, I choose trust, not because everything makes sense, but because you are faithful. I trust you with my mind, which has been busy and overstimulated. I trust you with my heart, which has felt deeply and sometimes painfully. I trust you with my body, which needs rest and renewal. I trust you with my spirit, which longs to be refreshed by your presence. As I prepare to sleep, I invite your peace to settle over me like a gentle covering. Let it quiet every anxious thought. Let it calm every restless emotion. Let it bring order where there has been confusion. Your word reminds me, as it is written in Psalm 4:8, that in peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. I receive that promise now, not as distant poetry, but as present reality. I choose to believe that this night is guarded by you. I ask that you cleanse my heart from anything that does not belong there. If bitterness has taken root, gently remove it. If fear has lingered, replace it with confidence in your love. If disappointment has weighed me down, lift it with the assurance that you are still writing my story. I do not want to carry emotional burdens into my rest. I want to sleep with a heart that is light, surrendered, and open. Thank you for the gift of night. Thank you that sleep is not wasted time, but sacred time. Time when my body repairs itself, my mind resets, and my soul rests in your care. Even when I am unaware, you are present. Even when my eyes are closed, yours remain open. You neither slumber nor sleep, and that truth allows me to do both without fear. I surrender every relationship into your hands tonight. The ones that bring me joy, I thank you for. The ones that bring me pain, I trust you with. Where there is distance, bring understanding. Where there is tension, bring peace. Where there are unspoken words, bring clarity in your timing. I release the need to control outcomes or force resolutions. I trust that you are working in every heart involved, including mine. I also bring before you the places in my life where I feel uncertain, the questions that remain unanswered, the doors that have not yet opened, the waiting that feels longer than I expected. In these spaces, I choose faith over frustration. I choose patience over anxiety. I choose to believe that delays are not denials, and silence is not absence. You are present even when you seem quiet. As night deepens, I ask you to guard my thoughts. Protect my mind from fear, from intrusive worries, from imagined outcomes that steal peace. Let my thoughts be anchored in truth. Let them be gentle and life-giving. If my mind begins to wander, guide it back to you. If my thoughts begin to race, slow them with your presence. I want my last conscious thoughts to be filled with trust, not tension. I place my physical rest in your hands. You know every ache, every area of tension, every place of exhaustion. As I sleep, let healing flow through my body. Restore my strength. Renew my energy. Align what is out of balance. Let sleep be deep and uninterrupted, free from disturbance and fear. I receive rest as a gift, not something I have to earn. I thank you for your protection over my home this night, over every room, every doorway, every window. Let your presence fill this space with peace. Let there be no fear, no disturbance, no harm. I remember the promise spoken in Psalm 91, where it is said that those who dwell in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Tonight, I choose to dwell there. I choose to rest under your covering. As I lay down, I acknowledge that I am not alone. You are with me. Your spirit surrounds me. Your love holds me. There is nothing I need to prove, nothing I need to fix right now, nothing I need to solve before morning. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to let go. I am allowed to trust you fully with this night. I release every fear about tomorrow. I do not know what it will hold, but I know who holds it, and that is enough. You will give me the strength I need when I need it. You will provide wisdom for every decision. You will be present in every moment. I do not need tomorrow's grace tonight. Tonight, I receive rest. I open my heart to your gentle voice. Not the loud voice of urgency or pressure, but the quiet voice of reassurance and love. Speak to me in ways my soul can understand. Whether through peaceful thoughts, gentle dreams, or a deep sense of calm, let me be aware that you are near. Let my sleep be wrapped in your presence. As this prayer continues, as this night unfolds, I remain here with you, trusting, resting, listening, allowing your peace to lead me deeper into stillness, knowing that what begins in surrender will continue in rest. As the quiet settles more deeply around me, I allow my soul to sink further into this sacred stillness with you. The world outside slows, lights dim, sounds fade, and what remains is this gentle awareness that I am held. Not by my own strength, not by my own understanding, but by your unwavering presence. I do not rush away from this moment. I linger here because my heart has been hungry for you, and now that I am here, I want to stay. I let go of the identity I carried throughout the day. I am no longer defined by tasks completed or left undone. I am no longer measured by productivity, approval, or outcomes. Tonight, I am simply your child, resting in the love that existed before this day began and will continue long after it ends. This truth quiets something deep inside me. It reminds me that my worth is not fragile, and my place in your heart is secure. I speak to you honestly now, without rehearsed words or guarded phrases. You already know the thoughts I tried to ignore today. You know the emotions I buried so I could keep going. You know where I felt overwhelmed, where I felt unseen, where I felt unsure of myself. I bring all of that into this prayer, trusting that nothing offered to you is too heavy or too messy. You do not turn away from my humanity, you meet me in it. As I rest here, I ask you to gently untangle my inner world. Where my thoughts have been knotted with fear, bring clarity. Where my emotions have been loud and confusing, bring calm. Where my heart has been carrying unspoken grief, bring comfort. I do not need instant solutions. I simply need your presence to order what feels disordered. I trust that you know where to begin. I think of the moments today where I may have spoken too quickly or remained silent when I should have spoken. I think of the choices that still echo in my mind. Instead of replaying them endlessly, I place them before you. Teach me what needs to be learned, and then release me from condemnation. I believe that growth does not come from shame, but from grace. And your grace meets me here, even now. As sleep draws closer, I choose to forgive. Not because it is easy, but because holding on to resentment robs me of rest. I release those who disappointed me, misunderstood me, or hurt me, not by my own strength, but by yours. I ask you to soften my heart where it has become guarded. Heal the places that learn to protect themselves by closing off. Teach me how to rest without armor. I also forgive myself for not being everything I thought I should be today, for not having all the answers, for needing rest. I release unrealistic expectations and harsh self-judgment. I acknowledge that I am growing, learning, and becoming, and that this process takes time. You are patient with me. Tonight, I choose to be patient with myself. I welcome your truth to settle into my spirit. Not the harsh voice of accusation, but the steady voice of love that calls me forward. Your word reminds me in Matthew 11:28 that you invite the weary and burdened to come to you, promising rest for their souls. I respond to that invitation now. I come as I am, tired and in need, trusting that your rest reaches deeper than physical sleep. As I lie here, I imagine placing my head not just on a pillow, but into your care. I imagine your hands steadying my thoughts, your presence surrounding my heart. This image brings comfort. It reminds me that rest is not passive, but active trust. I am actively choosing to rely on you rather than my own vigilance. I am allowing myself to be watched over. I ask you to sanctify my dreams tonight. Let them be free from fear, confusion, or heaviness. If you choose to speak through them, let your message be gentle and clear. If not, let my sleep be deep and undisturbed. Either way, I trust that even my unconscious moments are known to you. There is no part of me that falls outside your care. I pray for those I love as I drift toward sleep. I lift them quietly before you, knowing you hear even whispered prayers. Protect them, guide them, comfort them wherever they are. Meet them in their own nights, their own struggles, their own need for rest. I trust that you are not limited by distance or time. Your presence reaches them, just as it reaches me. I also bring before you the burdens of this world that weigh on my heart. The pain I see, the injustice I hear about, the suffering that feels overwhelming. Tonight, I acknowledge that I cannot carry it all. I am not meant to. I release these concerns into your hands, trusting that you are at work in ways beyond my understanding. Free me from the false belief that everything depends on me. As my breathing slows, I feel gratitude rising quietly within me. Gratitude for this moment of peace, gratitude for breath, for shelter, for the ability to rest. Gratitude even for challenges, knowing they are shaping me in ways I cannot yet see. Gratitude shifts my focus from what is lacking to what is present, and what is present is you. I allow silence now, not as emptiness, but as space for your presence. In this silence, I am not abandoned. I am accompanied. You are here in the stillness, just as surely as you are in the noise. I do not need to fill this space with words. My trust speaks for me. Your word whispers reassurance to my heart, as it says in Lamentations 3:22-23, that your steadfast love never ceases, and your mercies are new every morning. Even now, at night's edge, that promise is alive. Tomorrow's mercy is already prepared. I do not need to stay awake worrying about it. I can sleep, knowing you will meet me again when morning comes. As I let go completely, I sense my body yielding to rest. Muscles relax, thoughts slow. My heart settles into a steady rhythm of trust. This is where I was meant to be, not striving, not fearing, simply resting in you. And so this prayer does not end abruptly, but gently fades into rest, carrying my trust forward, deeper into the night, confident that what you have begun in this quiet surrender, you will continue as I sleep. Now the night feels fuller, deeper, as if it has wrapped itself around this moment of surrender. I no longer resist the quiet. I welcome it. The silence is no longer empty. It is alive with your presence. I sense that this prayer has carried me beyond words and into trust, beyond effort and into rest. And here, in this place, I remain with you, allowing what has already been released to stay released. I feel the gentle transition between awareness and sleep, and instead of fighting it, I lean into it. I let my soul rest in the truth that I am safe. Safe not because everything in my life is resolved, but because you are constant. Safe not because I can see what is ahead, but because you see it clearly. This confidence settles deep within me, anchoring my heart as my body grows heavier with rest. I allow you to take over what my conscious mind can no longer manage. When my thoughts loosen their grip, you do not lose control. When my vigilance fades, your watchfulness remains. This brings profound comfort to my spirit. I'm reminded that my limitations do not limit you. My need for sleep does not interrupt your care. Even now, you are working, guarding, guiding. I surrender my inner narratives to you. The stories I tell myself about failure, about inadequacy, about being behind or not enough. Tonight, those stories lose their power. I choose to believe what you say about me instead. That I am seen, that I am known, that I am loved not for what I do, but for who I am. Let these truths sink deeper than the voices that have tried to define me. As sleep draws me further in, I sense my heart softening. The hardness that formed from disappointment begins to ease. The tension held from long days starts to melt away. This is not something I force. It happens naturally in your presence. Your peace does not demand effort. It simply invites surrender. I bring to you the parts of my life that feel unresolved, the prayers that seem unanswered, the hopes that feel delayed. I place them gently into your hands, trusting that you understand timing in ways I cannot. I release the urge to rush outcomes. I let go of comparison. I choose to believe that my journey is unfolding exactly as it needs to, even when I cannot yet see the full picture. In this space between waking and sleeping, I ask you to continue your quiet work in me. Heal what I do not yet have words for. Restore what has been slowly depleted. Align my desires with your will, not through pressure, but through peace. Let my heart become more attuned to your voice, more responsive to your leading, more secure in your love. I think now of the future, not with anxiety, but with gentle curiosity. I do not need to know everything that will come. I only need to know that you will be there. Your word assures me, in Proverbs 3:24, that when I lie down I will not be afraid, and that my sleep will be sweet. I receive that promise now, allowing it to carry me fully into rest. I release control over my breathing, my thoughts, my awareness. I allow my body to do what it was designed to do. I trust the rhythms you placed within me. Sleep is not a weakness, it is an act of faith. By sleeping, I declare that you are God, and I am not. By resting, I acknowledge that the world does not depend on my constant attention. I ask that your presence remain close through the night, not in a way that startles or overwhelms, but in a way that comforts and reassures. Let there be no fear in the darkness, no disturbance in the stillness. If I wake briefly, let me return easily to rest, anchored in peace rather than pulled into worry. I place tomorrow back into your hands once more. The conversations, the responsibilities, the unknowns. I trust that when morning comes, you will provide what is needed. Strength will rise, clarity will come, grace will meet me again. I do not need to prepare for everything now. Tonight is for rest. As my awareness fades, my trust remains. This prayer does not need a formal ending because it continues in the quiet of my sleep. My heart stays open. My spirit stays surrendered. My rest becomes an offering of faith, and so I drift fully into the night, covered by your peace, held by your love, confident that even in sleep I remain in your care. The night now feels complete, as if it has accepted me fully into its stillness. I am no longer hovering at the edge of rest. I am immersed in it. And even here, where words dissolve and thoughts grow soft, my spirit remains aware of you. Not in a striving way, not in an alert or anxious way, but in a quiet knowing that I am not alone. This knowing does not need to be explained. It simply is. I allow myself to be carried by the gentle rhythm of rest, trusting that you are present in every breath, every pause, every moment of stillness. There is no part of this night that belongs to fear. There is no corner of this darkness where your light does not reach. Even when my conscious mind loosens its grip, my soul remains anchored in you. In this deeper place of rest, I sense you inviting me to let go even more. Not just of surface worries, but of deeper burdens I have carried for a long time, expectations I placed on myself, identities shaped by past experiences, old wounds that quietly influenced how I see myself in the world. Tonight, without force or resistance, I allow these things to rest as well. I trust that you know how to tend to them gently. I no longer try to fix what is broken or figure out what is unclear. I give you permission to work beneath the surface, beyond my awareness. I believe that transformation does not always happen in moments of intensity, but often in moments of rest. As I sleep, you continue shaping me, aligning me, restoring me in ways I could not accomplish through effort alone. I feel a quiet reassurance settle into my heart, a reminder that my life is not fragile in your hands, that even my mistakes are not final, that even seasons of confusion are not wasted. You are weaving meaning where I only see fragments. You are building something lasting out of moments that felt insignificant. This confidence does not excite me into wakefulness. It lulls me deeper into peace. I let go of the need to be strong tonight. I do not need to be resilient or brave or composed. I am allowed to be soft. I am allowed to be tired. I am allowed to rest completely, knowing that you are strong on my behalf. Your strength does not diminish when I stop striving. In fact, it becomes more evident. In this stillness, I sense my heart opening again, slowly, naturally. Trust rebuilding itself without effort, hope resurfacing without pressure, faith breathing quietly beneath the surface of my rest. These are not things I force myself to feel. They rise because your presence makes room for them. I remember now the assurance spoken in Isaiah 26:3, where it is said that you keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you, because they trust in you. Even now, as my thoughts drift and my awareness softens, my trust remains. And that trust becomes peace. Not a fragile peace, but a steady one that holds me through the night. I allow my sleep to be an act of worship, not with words or songs, but with surrender. By resting, I honor the truth that you are God. By sleeping, I declare that I trust you to handle what I cannot. My rest becomes a quiet offering, placed into your hands without reservation. I feel no urgency to wake, no pressure to remain alert. I am fully allowed to be here, in this moment, without expectation. The night stretches gently ahead, not as something to endure, but as something to receive. Every minute of rest is a gift. Every moment of peace is intentional. If my mind stirs, I do not follow it into worry. If a thought rises, I let it pass like a cloud across a calm sky. I return again and again to this sense of being held, this sense of safety, this quiet awareness that nothing is demanded of me right now. I trust you with the unseen hours of this night, the moments I will not remember, the dreams I may or may not notice, the slow work happening within my body and soul. I trust that nothing is wasted. Even unconscious rest is purposeful in your design. I also trust you with the version of myself that will wake in the morning. I believe I will rise changed in subtle but meaningful ways. A little more rested, a little more clear, a little more grounded, not because I forced growth, but because I allowed rest. I release the fear that rest will make me fall behind. I reject the lie that stillness equals stagnation. I embrace the truth that rest prepares me for what is next. That sleep restores what striving depletes. That you value my well-being, not just my output. As the night deepens further, I feel myself sinking into complete surrender. There is no resistance left, no argument, no effort, only trust, only rest, only the quiet assurance that you are near and that you will remain near until morning comes. And so this prayer continues without words, carried by my trust, sustained by your presence, unfolding gently through the night, resting fully in the confidence that I am safe. I am held, and I am deeply loved. The night continues to hold me, and I remain within it without resistance. There is a sense now that time itself has softened, no longer pressing forward, but gently unfolding. I am not measuring this moment. I am not counting minutes or anticipating morning. I am simply here, existing within the care that surrounds me. And in this place, my soul rests deeper than sleep alone could ever reach. Even as my body lies still, something within me feels quietly renewed, not in a dramatic way, not with sudden clarity or emotional intensity, but with a steady assurance that all is well. This assurance does not come from circumstances aligning or problems resolving. It comes from knowing that you are present, attentive, and unchanging. This knowledge anchors me more securely than any outcome ever could. I am aware now of how gently you guard this night. There is no tension in your protection, no anxiety in your watchfulness. As it is written in Psalm 121, that you who watch over me neither slumber nor sleep, I find comfort in knowing that my rest does not leave any gap in your care. While my eyes are closed, yours remain open. While my awareness fades, yours remains complete. I do not need to check on myself. I do not need to monitor my thoughts or manage my emotions. I give you full permission to hold everything together. I trust you with the silence. I trust you with the darkness. I trust you with the unseen work unfolding within me. This trust feels natural now, no longer something I have to remind myself to choose. My heart feels lighter than it did when this prayer began. The heaviness that followed me into the night has loosened its grip. The concerns that once demanded attention now rest quietly in the background, no longer urgent, no longer overwhelming. They have not disappeared, but they have been placed in hands far more capable than mine. I allow myself to remain here, suspended in peace. There is no need to move forward, no need to retreat. This moment is enough. This rest is enough. I am not missing anything by being still. I am not losing ground by resting. I am exactly where I need to be. In this stillness, I sense your peace moving through me like a gentle current. Not the fragile peace that depends on control, but the lasting peace you spoke of when you said that you give peace, not as the world gives. That promise from John 14 settles deeply within me now, reassuring my heart and quieting every remaining trace of fear. This peace does not demand explanation. It simply remains. I notice how my breathing has become slow and effortless. Each breath feels like a quiet agreement with rest. Each exhale releases what little tension remains. My body responds naturally to the safety it senses. There is no urgency here, no signal to stay alert. Everything within me understands that it is safe to let go. I think of how often I resist rest in my waking hours, how easily I confuse activity with value and busyness with purpose. Tonight, those patterns loosen. I remember that you do not measure me by exhaustion. You do not ask me to prove my worth through constant effort. As it is said in Psalm 127, that you grant sleep to those you love, I receive this rest not as a reward, but as a gift. I allow gratitude to remain quietly present, not as a list of thoughts, but as a gentle awareness. Gratitude for being held. Gratitude for being loved. Gratitude for not having to understand everything. This gratitude does not excite my mind, it soothes it. It reminds me that I am cared for more deeply than I often realize. If my mind stirs slightly, I do not resist it. I simply return to this sense of trust. I do not chase thoughts. I do not analyze feelings. I remain rooted in the assurance that nothing is required of me right now. Even my faith does not need to perform. It simply rests. I sense that this night is not empty time, but meaningful time. Time where strength is quietly restored. Time where clarity begins to form beneath the surface. Time where my heart realigns with truth. I may not wake with immediate answers, but I trust that I will wake with what I need. I let go of the idea that I must carry myself through life. Tonight reminds me that I am carried, that even when I am unaware, even when I am still, even when I am asleep, I am sustained. This realization brings a deep, abiding calm. I remain here without words now, without effort, without expectation. The prayer continues not through speech, but through trust, through rest, through the quiet agreement of my soul that you are God, and I am safe. And so the night holds me still, and I remain at peace, resting fully in the assurance that nothing can separate me from your care, not even sleep itself. The night remains gentle, steady, unbroken, and I remain within its calm without effort. There is no longer a sense of moving toward rest, because rest has fully arrived. I am not transitioning anymore. I am dwelling. My body is quiet. My mind is subdued, and my soul is settled into a place where striving has no voice. In this space, I am not trying to hear you, yet somehow I know you are speaking through peace itself. There is a deep reassurance now that nothing is out of order, even if it once felt that way. The night does not demand understanding, and neither do you. You ask only for trust, and tonight, trust comes easily. I am no longer holding myself together. I am no longer bracing for what might come. I am simply being held, and that is enough. I feel the safety of being led rather than driven. It reminds me of how it is written in Psalm 23, that you are my shepherd, that I lack nothing, that you make me lie down in green pastures and lead me beside quiet waters. Tonight, those quiet waters are not an image, but a reality. My soul rests beside them now, restored not by effort, but by your guidance. There is nothing missing in this moment, nothing delayed, nothing at risk. Even the things that once felt fragile now rest securely in your care. I no longer feel the need to guard my heart or prepare myself for disappointment. I trust that whatever comes will come through your hands first. That truth settles deeply and stays. My inner world feels aligned in a way that words cannot fully capture. Thoughts are no longer scattered. Emotions are no longer pulling in different directions. There is a gentle unity within me, as though everything has agreed to rest at once. This harmony is not something I created. It is something I received. I let myself remain unaware of time. The hours can pass unnoticed. The night can deepen without my attention. I do not need to mark progress or measure rest. My soul understands that restoration does not need supervision. You are attending to every detail with care far greater than my own. Even in this deep rest, I sense a quiet joy. Not excitement, not emotion, but a steady gladness that comes from being secure. It is the joy of knowing I am not alone in the dark. The joy of knowing that silence does not mean abandonment. The joy of knowing that love does not withdraw when words cease. I remember the truth spoken in Zephaniah 3:17, that you are with me, that you delight in me, that you quiet me with your love. That is exactly what this night feels like, a quieting, not through force, but through affection, not through correction, but through presence. Your love does not stir me awake, it settles me deeper into rest. I do not resist the depth of this calm. I allow it to take me fully. There is no fear of losing control because I am not meant to be in control here. There is no fear of vulnerability because I am safe. There is no fear of stillness because stillness is filled with you. If the world continues turning outside this moment, it does so without my concern. If challenges wait beyond the morning, they can wait. Tonight belongs to rest. Tonight belongs to trust. Tonight belongs to the quiet confidence that you are already present in whatever comes next. My heart remains open even as my awareness fades. There is no closing off, no withdrawal. Rest does not distance me from you, it draws me closer. In this surrender, I am not losing myself. I am being restored. I let the final layers of tension dissolve, not intentionally, but naturally. There is nothing left to release because everything has already been placed into your hands. I no longer revisit worries or revisit prayers. I trust that what has been entrusted remains secure. The prayer continues now without language, carried forward by peace rather than words. My soul remains receptive even in stillness. My trust remains active even in sleep. Nothing needs to be concluded. Nothing needs to be resolved. I remain here, resting fully, deeply, confidently, knowing that this night is wrapped in your presence and that I am safe within it, held without effort, loved without condition, and kept without interruption. The night holds steady, and within it I remain, not drifting away from you, but sinking further into the assurance that you are here. There is a depth to this stillness now, a depth that feels older than words, older than fear, older than any worry that ever tried to claim my attention. In this depth, I am not searching for you, because I know you are already present. I am not waiting for reassurance, because reassurance has become the atmosphere around me. I sense how completely I am allowed to rest, not as an escape from life, but as a return to what is true. This rest is not avoidance, it is alignment. My soul aligns again with the truth that I am sustained by you, not by my effort, not by my vigilance, not by my ability to anticipate what comes next. The night teaches me this gently, without instruction, simply by being still with me. I no longer feel the edges of my worries. They have softened as if time itself has worn them smooth. What once felt sharp now feels distant. What once demanded resolution now rests quietly. This does not mean the concerns were meaningless. It means they have found their rightful place. They are no longer sitting on my chest. They are no longer crowding my thoughts. They have been placed into your care, and there they remain. I become aware of how deeply my body has responded to this surrender. There is no tension in my shoulders, no tightness in my jaw, no restlessness in my limbs. Every part of me seems to understand that it is safe. This safety is not something I created. It is something I received by trusting you. My body believes what my soul has accepted. I remain aware, in a quiet way, of your faithfulness, not as a list of memories, but as a living presence. Faithfulness feels tangible tonight. It feels like steadiness. It feels like continuity. It feels like knowing that nothing about you changes when I sleep. You are the same in the dark as you are in the light. You are the same when I am unaware as when I am fully alert. I let go of the idea that I must hold on to faith consciously for it to remain alive. Faith does not disappear when my thoughts fade. Trust does not dissolve when sleep comes. My belief rests even when I do. This realization frees me from the pressure of maintaining anything. I am not sustaining this connection, you are. In this deep rest, I sense that you are present not only around me, but within me. Your spirit does not step back when my awareness dims. You remain closer than breath, nearer than thought. Even as words lose their shape, this closeness remains. It is not fragile. It does not depend on my attention. It simply is. I think of the quiet promise spoken in Romans 8, that nothing can separate me from your love. Not height, not depth, not things present, not things to come. Even sleep, even unconsciousness, even silence cannot create distance. This truth settles into me like a foundation beneath the night. Holding everything steady, I no longer feel like I am waiting for morning. I am content to remain here. Time does not press forward, it rests with me. The night is not something to endure or pass through quickly. It is a space you created for restoration, and I receive it fully. There is no urgency to wake. There is no fear of missing something. Everything that matters is secure. I sense now how deeply you value this stillness, how you meet me not only in moments of devotion and clarity, but also in moments of vulnerability and rest. You do not demand alertness to be near. You do not require words to listen. You are present simply because you choose to be. My inner world feels spacious. There is room to breathe, room to rest, room to simply exist without explanation. I do not feel compressed by expectations or pressured by tomorrow. The future feels gently held at a distance, not looming, not threatening, simply waiting in your care. If fear tries to whisper in the quiet, it finds no place to land. There is no open space for it here. Peace fills every corner. Trust steadies every thought. Even uncertainty feels calm because it no longer feels lonely. Whatever is unknown is known by you, and that is enough. I allow myself to remain surrendered, not in a dramatic way, but in a settled way. There is no internal debate, no resistance, no hesitation. Everything within me agrees to rest. This agreement is not forced. It arises naturally from the assurance that you are good and that you are near. I feel a gentle sense of being watched over, not with scrutiny, but with care. Not with judgment, but with affection. This watchfulness does not make me alert. It allows me to relax completely. I do not need to stay awake to protect myself. I am protected. I remember the truth spoken in Psalm 139, that even the darkness is not dark to you, and that night shines like the day in your presence. This night does not hide me from you. It does not distance me. It does not diminish your care. I am fully seen, fully known, fully kept. I remain here, resting in that truth, allowing it to sink deeper than thought, deeper than feeling. This rest is not shallow. It reaches places I cannot reach while awake. It restores in ways I cannot direct. I trust this process completely. Nothing needs to be concluded. Nothing needs to be summarized. The prayer continues not as speech, but as being, as trust, as rest. I remain here in the quiet confidence that this night is held by you, and that I am held within it, secure, restored, and at peace. The night stretches on in a way that no longer feels long, only full. It is full of quiet assurance, full of safety, full of the kind of peace that does not ask questions or seek explanations. I remain within this stillness, not suspended between thoughts, but resting beneath them, deeper than language, deeper than awareness. And even here, even now, I am aware in my spirit that you are near, closer than my own breath, more constant than my own heartbeat. There is no sense of drifting away from myself. Instead, it feels as though I am finally settling into who I was meant to be when I am not striving, not proving, not managing outcomes. In this place, I am not fragmented. I am whole, not because everything in my life is resolved, but because I am aligned with you. Wholeness does not come from having answers, it comes from being held. The night feels like a sacred pause. intentionally placed between what has been and what will be. A pause where nothing is demanded, nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. I do not need to prepare myself for tomorrow here. Preparation will come in its time. This moment is for restoration, and restoration does not hurry. I sense that you are doing work in me that does not require my awareness. Work that reaches beneath conscious thought, beneath memory, beneath emotion. You are tending to places I have forgotten, healing wounds I no longer know how to name, strengthening parts of me that were quietly weakened over time. This work feels gentle, never invasive, never abrupt. It feels like care. I realize now how much of my waking life is spent holding tension without noticing it, how often I brace myself, even when there is no immediate threat. Tonight, that bracing has ended. My body no longer expects impact. My soul no longer anticipates disappointment. There is a deep exhale happening within me, one that feels long overdue. I remain still, and in that stillness, I feel safe enough to be honest without words. Honest about my weariness, honest about my need, honest about my limits. There is no shame in any of this here. You do not equate weakness with failure. You do not withdraw when I am depleted. You draw closer. This night teaches me again that dependence is not something to outgrow. It is something to embrace. I was never meant to carry everything alone. I was never designed to be self-sufficient in the way the world often praises. I was created for connection, for trust, for rest in you. And here, in this quiet, I remember that truth without effort. I feel no separation between prayer and rest anymore. They have become the same thing. My sleep itself has become a conversation of trust. My stillness has become an expression of faith. I am no longer speaking to you, I am resting with you. And this feels more intimate than words. If there are fears buried deep within me, fears I rarely acknowledge, I trust that you see them clearly. Fear of loss, fear of change, fear of not becoming who I hope to be. I do not drag these fears into the light tonight. I simply place them in your presence, knowing that light does not need my assistance to reach them. I sense a quiet reassurance forming, not as a thought, but as a certainty, that my life is not random, that my story is not fragile, that nothing is unraveling beyond repair. Even what feels delayed is not wasted. Even what feels broken is not beyond your care. This certainty settles into me like a foundation, steady and unmoving. I remember the words spoken in Isaiah 4:1-10, where you say not to fear, because you are with me, not to be dismayed, because you are my God, that you will strengthen me and help me and uphold me with your righteous hand. Those words do not stir me into alertness. They quiet me further. They remind me that help does not require my vigilance. Strength does not depend on my awareness. Upholding does not stop when I sleep. I allow myself to trust this completely. Not halfway, not cautiously, fully. There is no backup plan in my mind right now, no internal safety net. My safety is you, and that is more than enough. The darkness around me feels different now. It no longer feels like absence. It feels like shelter. It feels like a place where nothing is exposed, nothing is scrutinized, nothing is demanded. The night wraps gently around this moment of surrender, and I welcome it. I do not need light to feel secure when I know you are here. I sense that my heart is no longer clenched around expectations. I am not waiting for something to happen. I am not bracing for interruption. I am simply present, and presence is enough. This is not boredom or emptiness. It is fullness without noise. I think of how often I resist this kind of stillness because it feels unfamiliar, because silence can feel unproductive, because rest can feel undeserved. Tonight, those lies lose their power. I do not need to justify rest. I do not need to earn peace. I receive them because you give them freely. There is a gentle humility in this moment, not the kind that diminishes me, but the kind that frees me. I am reminded that I am not the center of everything, and that truth brings relief rather than fear. The world does not rest on my shoulders. My future does not depend on my constant awareness. You are holding everything together. I remain here, breathing slowly, deeply, without intention. Each breath feels like agreement. Agreement with trust. Agreement with rest. Agreement with the truth that I am cared for. There is no internal argument left. Everything within me has settled. If my mind briefly stirs, it does so without urgency. Thoughts pass like distant echoes, never demanding attention. I do not follow them. I let them fade. I remain anchored in this deep calm, this steady sense of being kept. I feel no need to reach for morning. Morning will come when it comes. I do not need to hurry toward it. This night has value of its own. This rest matters. This stillness is doing something important, even if I cannot name it. I trust that when I wake, I will carry something from this night with me. Not necessarily memories, but strength. Not necessarily clarity, but peace. Not necessarily answers, but assurance. This trust allows me to sink even deeper into rest. I release any final impulse to stay aware. I do not need to witness this process. I do not need to oversee it. I let go completely, knowing that nothing is lost in doing so. Everything that matters remains secure. And so I remain here, in the quiet fullness of the night, wrapped in your presence, resting without fear, trusting without effort, held without interruption, confident that this night, like my life, is safely and intentionally kept in your hands. The night now feels complete in its work, as though it has gently carried everything to where it belongs. I am no longer aware of effort, or even of rest as something I am doing. Rest has become the natural state I am held within. My soul is quiet, not because it has been silenced, but because it has been satisfied. There is nothing left to seek, nothing left to explain, nothing left to release. Everything has been entrusted. In this final settling, I sense a deep agreement between my heart and yours. Not an agreement formed through reasoning or resolve, but one formed through closeness. Being near you has aligned what once felt divided within me. What was restless has grown calm. What was heavy has grown light. What was uncertain has learned to trust without demanding clarity. I feel no fear of the darkness now. It no longer feels like something I am passing through, but something that has served its purpose well. The night has not taken anything from me. It has only given. It has given space, quiet, restoration, and a renewed sense of safety that reaches deeper than conscious thought. I rest in the truth that I do not need to guard myself while I sleep. I remember the simple confidence spoken in Psalm 3:5, that I lie down and sleep, I wake again, because you sustain me. That sustaining does not pause when my awareness fades. It does not weaken in silence. It remains constant, steady, faithful. I allow my breathing to remain slow and natural. Each breath feels like a gentle affirmation that I am alive, that I am cared for, that I am not alone. I do not try to control it. I do not try to deepen it. I simply allow it to be, trusting that even my most basic rhythms are held within your design. There is no longer any sense of needing to hold on to this prayer. It has already become part of me. It has settled into my spirit in a way that does not require repetition. The words may fade, but the peace remains. The awareness may dim, but the trust endures. I sense now a quiet readiness for morning, not as anticipation, but as assurance. Morning will come in its time, and when it does, I will rise not empty, but renewed, not rushed, but steady, not anxious, but grounded. This confidence does not excite my mind, it comforts it. I trust that whatever awaits me beyond this night will be met with grace already prepared. I do not need to gather strength now. Strength will meet me when I need it. I do not need to store peace for later. Peace will rise again naturally. What I receive tonight is not temporary. It is foundational. I rest in the promise spoken in Philippians 4:7, that your peace, which surpasses all understanding, guards my heart and my mind. That guarding has not required my attention. It has simply happened. My heart has been guarded. My mind has been kept. I am safe within a peace that does not depend on explanation. There is no rush to wake, no urgency pulling me forward. This final moment of surrender feels complete, whole, finished in the best sense of the word. Nothing has been left undone. Nothing has been forgotten. Everything that matters is already in your care. I let myself drift fully now, without holding on to awareness, without checking my thoughts, without any effort at all. I trust the unseen hours ahead. I trust the quiet work continuing within me. I trust that this rest will bear fruit in ways I may never notice, and that is enough. The night closes gently around this prayer, not as an ending, but as a continuation of trust. And within that trust, I remain at peace, fully surrendered, fully kept, fully at rest. Amen.